Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Real with Robo. Okay, I got two videos coming up today, but the first one I just read about was this Maxima somebody. You guys know how great I am with names. And she was talking about how at a Black Lives Matter protest, she was pulled over and she was stopped because she was flagged as a DACA recipient, an illegal immigrant that came with her parents. Now, I'm going to say this, and many of you may not like this, but how many times have I told you I don't care if you don't like my opinion? If you agree, you agree. If you don't agree, you don't agree. I don't care either way. All right? Let me put that on the floor before I say this. You know, a lot of people are bitching and moaning about DACA recipients. Like, they were brought here before they even knew anything. They couldn't follow the laws, blah, 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 because their parents were illegal immigrants and they just brought them over the border and they should deserve to stay since this is the only home they knew. Well, my question to Maxima, whatever her name is, and all the other DACA recipients. And please do comment in my comments because I've got a serious question to ask you. You have lived in America all this damn time. All this damn time. Okay? And yes, I see it through other DACA recipients like that lawyer who says, you know, America owes us. America don't owe you shit. America don't owe it's a birthright citizen shit. America don't owe anybody anything. I know life is hard, isn't it? Wah. So let Robo help you on how not to, every time we see a cop, we kind of fear that if we get arrested, we're going to have to go through deportation because of this law and that law and that law and that law. Here's an idea. How about since you've been here 20, 30, 40, 50 years and you know the law and you know your DACA and you know that DACA is walking a fine line. Why don't you just go down to the immigration department and say, look, I'm a DACA recipient. I'd like to file for permanent status here. I'd like to file for my citizenship. You've been here 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. You could have had this done by now. You say America is the only country you've ever known, the laws you've only ever known. Then why the fuck don't you follow them laws? Oh yeah, that's right, because that'd be too easy. Instead, let's go march and say, removing DACA is unfair. DACA people like me, we've only lived here in America all our lives. This is the only country we've known. Every time we see a cop or ICE, we get in fear that we might be deported. You know how to solve that problem? Take responsibility for your own actions. If you know you're DACA, you know you're illegal. Period, point blank. You've lived here in America, you know their laws, you know you're illegal. Period, dot. You know that every time anybody votes on any law that concerns DACA and immigration, your ass is basically on the meat grinder. So how about this? How about we start thinking like Americans? There is a law against murdering people. So if I went out and murdered someone, I then cry by your logic about how the murder law is not fair. But I know there's a law against murdering people. So how about I not murder people? Then I don't have to worry about that particular law being fair or unfair. Oh my God, that Robo, you're making too much sense. You're going too quick for me now. Slow down. Okay, let me put it to you in basic dumb English, because it's apparent many of you are basically dumb, even though you speak and understand English. You suck your shorts up every time you have an interaction with the police, because you know it could lead to the law that deports you. You are an illegal alien by all terms and definitions. You know this. Stop playing stupid. Stop playing dumb. Let's get real. You know this. Whether it was your fault or your mommy's fault or your daddy's fault or your grandparents' fault or your auntie's fault or your uncle's fault or your cousin's fault or anybody's fault, you are here illegally. That makes you an illegal immigrant. Period. It doesn't matter if you've been here for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. You are an illegal immigrant. So how do we stop the, oh my God, I might be deported? How do we stop the, oh my God, they might remove DACA? How do we stop the, oh my God, I'm an illegal alien, and they might make a law where all of us get deported? How do we stop that? You've been living here all those years. You know the laws. You know the best way to avoid being got by those laws is by following the laws. So how do we remove all that bullshit? Here's an idea. Go down to the immigration office. Tell them, I'm a DACA recipient. I realize I am an illegal alien. I realize that I am only allowed to be here via DACA rules and laws, but I want to apply for my citizenship. I have been here 20, 30 years, and this is the good that I've done for my community. Since I'm already here, I want to be here legally. Fill out the little forms, pay the little fee, become an American citizen, a legal immigrant, and then guess what? When you're pulled over by the cops, why'd you stop me, officer? Is it because I'm DACA? Is it because I'm an illegal immigrant? Is it because I'm going to be deported? No. Because you got a broken tail light. Oh, okay, I'll get that fixed. You're not going to take me to jail, are you? Because I'm an illegal immigrant, because I could be deported, because I'm DACA, right? No, I'm going to give you this ticket to fix it. Get it fixed before your court date. Have a good day. Wait. You mean I'm not going to be deported if I become a legal immigrant? You mean, Robo, you mean to tell me that I've been living here 20 years, 30 years, and they will actually take it into account the good I've done for my community? And they'll say, hey, they're already here, and they actually want to become a legal immigrant? No problem. Let's put them at the front of the line. Because we see what kind of productivity they are doing in America. And then unless you murder somebody, rape somebody, rob somebody, have a broken taillight, going too fast down the street, you ain't got to worry about immigration. You ain't got to worry about DACA. You ain't got to worry about deportation. All you've got to worry about is the regular laws everybody else worries about. And the regular laws you've been living under for the past 20, 30, 40, 50 years. I'm sure you have seen the instance of where that 97-year-old German man was deported. But America's all I've ever known. Well, you're an illegal immigrant. Why are they being so mean to him? He's just an old man. Because as an old man, he should have had the wisdom in the past 97 frickin' years to go and apply to be a legal immigrant to the United States. But that would be too easy, wouldn't it? You don't want to give up your citizenship to Mexico or your citizenship to America. To me, it's an excuse. That's what it is. To bitch and moan and complain about how America owes you. Hello, you've been living here 20, 30, 40, 50 years. America owes you shit. Matter of fact, you owe America. Because they took you in when you were a kid. Even though you were an illegal. America gave you an education. It gave you health care. It gave you love, consideration, and even looked beyond you stealing Social Security numbers. Yeah, because that's what a DACA recipient said she did. She stole a Social Security number, used it to get her first job. And to me, she deserves to be deported. Because you've been here all your life, and you know that identity theft is against the law, and you do it anyway. So you could cover your own ass because you don't have the intelligence to go down to the immigration office and say, hey, I'm DACA. I would like to file for regular citizenship status here. What do I have to do? It's an excuse. It's a cop-out. So don't think I'm going to feel sorry for you or any other DACA recipient or any other illegal immigrant like that 97-year-old who had years upon years upon years upon years to file for their immigration. And don't tell me ICE will deport you immediately. Because right now would be the opportune time for you DACA idiots to go down there and file for regular citizenship. Why? Because we have a ban on immigrants right now. Therefore, people already in this country are good to go. Don't tell me ICE is going to be like, okay, well, I'm glad you came down here, you're arrested. No, DACA covers your ass for that. But DACA ain't going to cover your ass all your life. And when you get deported when you're 97 years old, don't expect me to feel sorry for you. In other words, if you want to avoid breaking the law, or the law being taken away, or being deported, or this, that, and the other thing, and you've lived here 20 years and can actually show that you made a difference in your community and you're a good guy, why don't you take your lazy ass down to immigration instead of crying about these laws and become a citizen? And then you could cry about the oppression and hatred and racism in America like everybody else does. Won't that be special? My basic thing is, if you're stupid enough to rely on a temporary law, which we've seen that DACA is, it's a temporary. It gets argued about all the time. Then that is your ass for not taking the opportunity where DACA is covering your ass to go down there and remove the threat of if they take DACA away, you'll be deported. If they decide on a different law to where you'll be deported. If you're arrested, you'll be deported. It's as simple as that. Use your fucking brain. And please stop telling me and other people that America owes you shit. Because America doesn't owe you anything. You owe America. Because America took you in as a baby, allowed you to stay through DACA laws, and allowed you to flourish and not be thrown out like everyone else. You owe America. And don't you dare think until you become a legal immigrant, like so many other people who are now American, that came to the country the right way, or at least were on DACA and filed for citizenship. Don't you dare think I will put you at the same standards of my fellow Americans. Don't even think it. Don't even try to think it. You are not an American until you give up your other citizenship to your other country the right way and become honorable like all those other legal immigrants who put their ass, their lives, and their money where their mouth is and did it the right way. They are American. They are the perfect standard of Americans. They are my fellow Americans. I don't care where they were born. They came here the right way. They're my fellow Americans. And I will fight for them just as I would fight for any American that was born here. Because they took the money, the time to say, hey, you know what? I really want to be an American, so I'm going to really follow their laws instead of coming here illegally or crying about DACA and having to steal people's identities in order to get jobs because they're DACA. And they're too damn lazy to go file for citizenship, and they think that America owes them something. No. You disgrace every legal immigrant when you come here illegally and expect America to bend over for you. America didn't bend over for those legal immigrants. For my fellow newly made American citizens. America didn't bend over for them. They didn't break the law to be here. They busted their ass to prove to America that they were worthy of being called American. So until you DACA people and you illegal immigrants do things the right way, don't expect me to applaud you because you didn't get deported because DACA said no. DACA is not a guarantee. The only guarantee you're going to have to stay in America is when you take your ass down to that immigration office and say, look, I've been here for 20, 30 years. I've done a lot of good for my community. Whether or not you're a protester or whatever, I've done a lot of good to benefit my community. I want to become an American. How do I do this? Because you are protected under DACA. So this would be the perfect time. Don't wait until DACA is rescinded to go down there and then wonder why you're being deported. But until you do that, don't expect any sympathy from me for you being afraid that the next time you get pulled over, you might be deported. Or when you look into the media cameras and say, America owes us. America doesn't owe you shit. America doesn't bend over for any of us. And we were born here. And the legal immigrants that legally migrated here, America didn't bend over for them either. So yeah, until you go down there and you become a legal citizen, don't call yourself an American, because you're not an American. I don't care if you're a quote-unquote American under DACA. You are not an American. An American respects the laws of America. An American knows that America doesn't owe them crap. Americans play by the rules and go by the books of what it is to be an American. And furthermore, an American respects the law. So I'm sorry about your traumatizing experience, Maxima. I'm so sorry that now you have to wear an ankle bracelet to be monitored. But you know what I'm even more sorry for? Of all the times that you have been an activist, you have decided against telling the people you protest and act a fool for that they should go down to the immigration office and become legal citizens of the United States. That's the saddest thing. Is for all the awesome you claim you are, you yourself haven't went down to the immigration office and filed to become an American citizen. So when you cry America is not fair, when you cry that America owes you something, look at how Mexico and other countries treat illegal immigrants, and be lucky that America is soft on you. Because if I murdered somebody, I would go to jail for the rest of my life. I would be separated from my family. But you guys, illegal aliens, you murder somebody, you go to jail for 5 years and then get deported. Wow. What a traumatizing experience. Because 9 out of 10 times, you'll illegally cross that border again and commit more crime. And that's a fact. So don't cry to me, an American, that America is mean and they owe you something. America doesn't owe you shit. Don't cry to me when you get arrested and deportation is on the table and you've had all these years to become an American citizen. Because I will feel no sympathy for you. There are people every single day, every single year that apply for citizenship and wait until America says, come on in, we need you. And they do it the right way. And they do it by the law. And when they come to America, they bring honor and pride to their home. You steal identities. You cry about the laws. You expect sympathy when you won't even use your own damn brains, where you don't have to worry about the laws. Like I said in the beginning, there's a law against murdering people. There's a law against burglary. There's a law against rape. There's a law against a lot of things. How do I walk down the street with my head held high? Oh, because you're white? No. Because I don't do the fucking crime. Therefore, I don't have to worry if a police officer stops me and says, "Hey, where are you going?" "I'm going home, sir." "Can I see your ID?" "Sure." "Oh, well, you have a nice day. I was just curious." "No problem." And if they told me turn around and put my hands up, I'm going to turn around and put my hands up. You want to know why? Because the best way to avoid getting shot by the police is not giving them a reason to shoot you.
He's doing what they say.
I mean, this is ridiculous. You can't use your brains to go file for permanent immigration status in all those years. And it takes about 15, 20 years to get permanent immigration status. But boy, oh boy, if DACA ever gets rescinded, you're going to be crying, "But and yet you've been here 30 years. And then you're going to want Americans to feel sorry for you. No. And especially activists. People that stir the pot. And especially people that encourage what's going on today of rioting, looting, and going nutty. Yeah. I have no sympathy for you. So just a note, if you have any brains, Maxima, and other DACA recipients, go down to the goddamn immigration office and file for permanent status. And then you'll get you a little social security number, an ID, and you don't have to steal nobody else's identity, and you don't have to worry about deportation or the rescindance of the DACA law or anything else, because you'll be a permanent American citizen. Then all you have to worry about is not killing people, or raping people, or hurting people, or doing damage, or whatever else the rest of us Americans have to worry about. That would be the sensible thing to do. But I'm yet to meet an activist that is sensible. So prove me wrong. You want the status of being an American? You want people to go, "Oh, you know what? That's an American and she's bitching about the laws? Oh, hell yeah, let me listen about that." Instead of going, "An illegal alien bitching about the laws in America, go fuck yourself." Because that's exactly what they do. Yeah. Why don't you become an American? And then America will be your home. And you can't be deported. But then that would be smart. See you at the next time DACA gets threatened to be rescinded. I love watching illegal aliens squirm. And that's real with Robo.